Think it's big enough?
Can you take it down?
What's in them is not significant. It's just the idea that a shield made out of paper. Well, that's kind of a bizarre thing, don't you think? Man, it's got to be 10 years ago.
What's this box here?
Oh, just a collect, you know, just odds and ends that you always wanted to have things out and around. Well, that just small items. If you want to talk about metaphor, the idea of making fragile shields out of basswood and tissue and silk is the process rather than the object actually being a protection. It's a protection not physically, it's a protection mentally, spiritually. So you don't have to think about anything that you put in it because whatever you do works. Oh man, that's nice.
What is the deal with the circle, Lovins? In your stuff? I mean,
Well, a couple of things. It's probably the American Indian Mother Earth, but it's also the Shotokan karate with the broken circle. What you're saying here is exactly what I go through whenever I do one of these. Okay, that's kind of the possibility for one division. It's going to be about nature. That's going to be one of the themes in it. And in that being the case, there's going to be stars in it. And the thing about stars is, a shield is for protection. We just started reading recently about light pollution, so you can't see the stars much anymore. Unless you really make effort to go to a spot where there's no light. And so it's going to have some of that in it. And on top of it, the Hubble scope just recently picked out a spot in space about the size of an eraser, maybe smaller, that all this time they thought was empty. And they got a chance to use it to do this one spot of nothing that they've always thought was bare. And they find about 3 billion galaxies in that little dot that go way beyond. So I like to have something about that. Just the idea of thinking we know this and we find out that's much bigger than you can't even grasp it. Hang on a minute. I know what I'm putting here. This is going to be like this. this thing kicked off really with this and that space. Now I've got to decide on how I'm going to set up the imageries. That's a stainless steel sifter.
A flowers? Not a flower.
No, a strainer. What it is right there in that new place.
I know what this is. This is for glasses.
Yeah, but listen to Marty now. He's talking to you.
That's not a sifter anymore. When the handle's cut off and it's put in the middle of the circle, it is the Earth spinning in space. You see the moon coming up above it?
Ask him where.
Now we see.
Well,
It
where's,
looks like a rainbow.
It's kind of hard to see now because it's got so many pieces that are not there yet. So we've got to keep working on them. Well,
Itself,
I
right?
think we've been looking at it, and I put in a couple of three things. You know, this,
Yeah,
and this, and these two back pieces,
Okay.
and that back piece.
yeah. It's a tulip. It's a tulip bulb.
I'm glad to hear you say that. That's what it's supposed to be, but the more I looked at it, the more I thought it was an onion.
No, it's a tulip
And I started looking at tulip bulbs, and they're just something. And then I asked Donna, she says, well, it's a pear. I said, no, I said, I know I said there was no right answer, but that is a wrong answer.
So,
Did I tell you I titled a piece of my jewelry?
I can't remember. What
I'm
was
going to title this one.
Oh, yeah?
Uh-huh. It's button. The button. It's deep.
It's about as erotic as you can get, right?
Well, I'm titling everything now.
Once you get onto those nursery rhymes.
By the way, my book is, did you notice my book out in the Tules there? It's starting to finally get some action on it.
Let's hear
Okay,
it.
here's the deal.
Let me find this book on it. It is there. Oh, brave new world.
Hey, Nani. So here's the deal.
Oh, okay.
All right, here we go.
Where'd you get these buttons?
There's buttons everywhere. I have them in colors too. I can make a primary set or primary colors or the other the other colors.
What?
Okay, here it is. There's the mark. Then I figure with 100 of these, I would be done by Easter. Maybe a little longer. You know, that's one of those deals where
Well,
You're looking, first of all, you're looking for design. You're looking for surprise visuals. And think about buttons as it connects with individuals. I can give you two samples, and these two samples came not because I planned for it this way, although one of them crossed my mind, and that was the shirt wearers. You know what I'm talking about? Well, when you think about shirts, you automatically think about buttons, don't you? I do anyway. Anyway, that sort of has some connection there, but to end up talking about it in detail, I don't know which way you want to go with it. But there is kind of a universal thing in buttons that people have as far as some connection and some remembrance. And another one in the Balkans during that conflict of yesteryear. Did you know that they went around and collected clothing and they put it between, cleaned it and put it between plastic? So they had plastic envelopes, and these plastic envelopes were made into loose leaf books that people could come and look at the clothing to see if they would recognize if someone that they had in their family was gone, had become part of the battle or the kidnapping or the mass grave. You know that? And buttons in that thing became part of it. Now both of those have nothing to do with my long-range planning. You understand that? That just happened. That's the magical part that I like so much. But to talk about it and explain detail about it, that's bullshit. Bottom line is, it's kind of an interesting texture to look at, and it's a recognizable object everybody has some connection with, no matter how tiny.
you have higher thoughts in your head regarding these buttons than I do. The names that are coming up for me are...
Well, that doesn't matter.
You know, I think we've got 2 full-length feature films.
What I think I'm going to do is make a shield with a lot of these, and you can film the whole thing. And it'll be a continuous scraping of 2 days, and people will just get so sick of it. Did you want to get one shot of it? Well, of course you do. It's just something intriguing. I could have this complete in 40 minutes. Leading between that wood and the brown in the paper, and you start getting that crustiness.
So those paper towels are different than
I'm
the
gonna get one,
paper
sure.
towels that...
Oh yeah, these are. I don't even think they got these anymore. How long have I had these? Oh, my guess is at least 20 years. Do you remember the movie? And there was a massage,
Yeah,
and they had the lawn mowing scene.
I don't
And
remember.
they said that is the new urban America. And then right after that, a woman in a plastic cape, nude, climbed into a barrel and played the cello. Do you remember that?
No.
Now, do you see the background to the bird?
Yeah.
That's added. Do you see the 2 pseudo eye shapes?
In the... No, I don't have those.
Those are out. Those weren't there. Can you see it now with the teeth?
Oh. Okay, now let's take a look at these.
Shield of 1,000 moons.
Thousand moon shield.
1,000 moon shield.
Thousand moon shield, singular, not thousand moons. Thousand moon shield.
Why didn't you say 100?
Well, I had 100, you know, from the buttons,
Yeah,
but then
but
I
this-
knew there was more than there were multiple moons in there before those buttons come on there. So I went thousand moon shield. Be careful here. This is steady. So thousand moon shield.
Did you see the picture from the Mars rover turned back toward Earth? Have you seen that photograph?
No.
Look at here. That's the moon, that's the Earth. Those are the size of it from the Mars.
So, show me.
Think about that one. The planet Earth sitting out there as the size of a dot, that size, and the moon a head of a pin. Those, except for that one, those others were just a prototype to see how it would look. But you can see the way that box is on the letter R. That's how it's going to end up.
Yeah. Isn't that something on that word Yahweh?
Yeah, it's real weird.
Taking those vowels out?
Yeah.
There won't be none but big old hearts dancing in our eyes. You changed that center moon, didn't you?
To the left of them.
Yeah.
To the right of them. Okay, so how soon do you think we're going to be going to New York?
You want to watch a movie, huh?
I want to get to the bottom line of this. It's taking too long to get
Go over there and stand. Go over there and stand by your. Go over there and stand by your shield. This is. Get in there.
You're getting close to your to the time limit. Oh! It's the guy at the auction. He goes, oh! Did you
Yeah.
see that recent article, I think it was yesterday, about new ways to photograph the Milky Way?
No.
They've got it so that they can photograph this in a method that is seen it. You can see it in 3D, and you can see it as you stand on Earth and sweep in a 360 degree around the Earth to look out. Here's the clincher. When you're looking out about 1,000 light years. That's the stars we see at night. The Milky Way is 100,000 light years across. Are you with me on this?
Yeah.
But it is 100,000 light years wide. So it takes 1,000 years.
How could I be
to
with
get
you?
to Earth.
How could I be with you?
If you were on the outer edge, it would take 100,000 years for that dot of light to finally arrive at your source. Now here's another thing I want to tell you. There are billions of Milky Ways out there. Not millions, billions. Are you with me?